This is part 3 of our video on right triangle practice. Our question said solve for x in each of the following and round your final answers to 2 decimal places. So in our next example, we have another right angle triangle. I can tell that it's a right angle triangle because of the square in the corner. So this one has an angle of 62 degrees, a side of 108 centimeters, and we're trying to find x. So when I'm trying to choose a solving method, I would only pick Pythagorean theorem if we were only working with side lengths. So if I knew 2 of the sides and was trying to find the 3rd side. In this question, because I have an angle, I would be inclined to use either sine, cos, or tan. So if you have an angle or you're trying to find an angle in a question, that's when we tend to use the sine, cos, and tan ratios. So if I want to use sine, cos, and tan, the first thing I should do is label my triangle. So across from the 90-degree angle is our longest side called the hypotenuse. And then to do the other 2 sides, I need to find the angle in the question. That's the 62 degrees. We never use the 90 as the angle in the question. So across from the 62 degrees, that's our opposite side. And then the one beside the 62 degrees is our adjacent side. So what I want to do is see if I can find one of the sides that we don't really know anything about, and that would be the adjacent. There's nothing really labeled over here, so we're going to ignore the adjacent today, and we're going to focus on hypotenuse and opposite. So I like to use the word SOHCAHTOA to help me remember the different ratios. We are looking for something with an H and an O. So H and O would be sine. So we are going to use the sine ratio. So sine of angle A equals O opposite over H hypotenuse. So sine of angle A, that's 62, is O opposite, that's 108, divided by hypotenuse, which is x. So you'll notice that the x is on this side as part of the fraction. And I would like to get the x by itself, but I don't really want it to be in the denominator anymore. So anytime we're trying to solve for a side length, our next step will always be to cross multiply. So that sine 62 is secretly over 1, and then I am going to cross multiply. So we're going to do x times sine of 62 and 1 times 108. So I get x times sine of 62 equals 108. So from here, in our last example that we did, it was easy because all of the numbers at this point were on the same side. Here, all of the numbers aren't together. The x is still here with the sine of 62. So I have one more step. I need to divide both sides by sine of 62 to get it over to the other side. So I'm going to calculate 108 divided by sine 62. Now, if you have a calculator where you see what you type in on the screen, that's great. Just type in 108 divided by sine 62 equals, and you should be fine. On my calculator, I can't do that. I am just quickly going to check that I'm in degrees. That's really important. And I'm going to do 108 divided by, and then I have to do 62 and then sine. So 62 sine, and then you want to hit equals. And I get 122.31, but if I take a peek at that next number, it's a 7, so that's going to push that up to a 2. So it's going to be 122.32, and I have one line left here. So 122.32, and this is a side length, and it's in centimeters. So x is approximately 122.32 centimeters. Okay, you can join me in that last video to see how to do our last example.